Remember when we were kids and we got in trouble, we did something we weren't supposed to do, or we got in trouble for something that we didn't know we weren't supposed to do? Either way, our parents were like, "You are grounded." How'd that feel? Kinda sucked, huh? Because now you couldn't do stuff that you normally got to do, or you didn't get to do stuff that you wanted to do because of something else that happened somewhere. And so then you grow up 10, 15, 20 years later and you hear other people, especially in the spiritual community, talk about how you need to spend this time getting more grounded. Now, of course, you know they're talking about something different, but now that word is being used in a different way. Does it create a little trigger point for you that's like, "Oh, grounded, I'm not sure if that's something I actually want." Well, I was thinking about that today, and I want to talk about how our word choices or choiceage needs to possibly take a little bit of a tweak, and how we can maybe use words in a different way to not get so triggered and also tap more into who we really are. So come on, my friend, let's dig into the soil of this together. Hello, my friend. My name is D. Grant Smith. I am the growth farmer for personal development through the lens of spirituality and storytelling. And if this is your first time here, I am so glad to have you with me. If you are returning, welcome back. Today, we're going to do some cool stuff. We're going to go into the direction of words. And me being a writer and a storyteller, words are obviously a big part of my life. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, the word grounded can have multiple meanings. So one of the things that I help kids do is learn about reading and different aspects of reading. And one of the things that we learn is homonyms, otherwise known as multiple meaning words. One word that can be spelled the same, sound the same, but depending on its context, have a completely different meaning. And we experience this in a couple different ways, especially as adults. Going back to when we were kids, a word had one meaning, and then we grow up, and now this word, same spelling, same sound, has a different meaning. And grounded is one of those words. So this morning, I was watching this really cool video by Life with Lucy. If you've never heard of her before, go check her out. Her channel's fantastic. She's got a lot of really great spiritual teachings, and she talks about manifestation and a whole bunch of other stuff. But the video I was watching today was talking about the full moon that's going to be happening this weekend. Now, the day today that I'm making this video is June the 2nd, 2023. If you were watching this at a later time, I don't know if there's going to be a full moon this weekend or not. But for this weekend, at this point in history and time, there will be a full moon this weekend, and it's going to be in Sagittarius. Now, I don't really know what all of that means, except for the fact that I am a Sagittarius. And so when I heard about that, I got really excited. But one of the things that she talked about this full moon is that it is a time to get really grounded. And that was the word she kept using over and over again. And then it occurred to me, grounded as an adult and grounded in these spiritual realms has a completely different meaning than it did when I first heard the word when I was a kid, probably a teenager, doing something that either I knew I wasn't supposed to do, or not doing something that I was supposed to do, like chores, because I really hated doing that. And not a whole lot's changed since then. Or getting in trouble for something that I didn't even know I was doing wrong. And that happened a lot. Either way, I got grounded. When we were kids and we get grounded, we get privileges taken away from us. We get things that we enjoy doing being removed from our ability to do them, or we're not being allowed to do them. And so I remember a couple years ago when I was first coming into a lot of the spiritual stuff that I do and that I talk about, hearing the word grounded, and immediately it triggered something in me because I had this initial attachment to a meaning of the word grounded that was not fun, that was not enjoyable, that was a punishment. So I'm hearing the spiritual teacher telling me that I need to be more grounded. I'm like, whoa, what does that mean? And I learned, obviously, that spiritual grounding is about becoming more centered. And in a way, sort of related to being grounded as we are when we're kids, removing ourselves from things that can be a distraction and getting more into our body and getting more into our spirit. And especially when we bring in the natural elements of this, going outside, putting our feet into the earth. And that's really where the grounding comes from, because it's getting really centered in the earth and becoming one with Mother Nature and feeling the abundance that is in Mother Nature, feeling the peace that is in Mother Nature, letting the energy of the earth come up into our body and realign ourselves. That's what being grounded is really all about. But that's a completely different connotation than the one that we have when we're kids, and being grounded is a punishment. And so I wanted to just introduce this idea to you, because this can go in a variety of different places when it comes to words and homonyms in a couple different ways, or several different ways. There are all kinds of words that we have in our vocabulary that mean one thing in one context and a completely different thing in another context. And if we get easily triggered by hearing a word that at one point in our lives had a meaning that was not fun, or was not good, or was not pleasant, or was not something that we enjoyed, and then we hear that same word being used by somebody else in a completely different context, in completely different capacity, it can be easy for us to get triggered and immediately go back into thinking and feeling what that previous feeling was like when that word was used. And it's important for us to just pause, press pause on the moment, and ask ourselves some important questions. Am I being triggered by the energy of this space, or am I being triggered by a word that was used? And do I have an attachment to this word and a perception of what this word is and the power that's in this word? Is my perception the thing that's actually standing in my way? For me, there was a perception that was standing in my way regarding the word grounded. And it took me doing some exploration inside my own psyche and my own mind to separate myself and my identity, or my identifying with a negative connotation of grounded, so that I could really hear and receive what it was that these spiritual teachers were trying to communicate to me. Because what they were communicating to me was coming from a place of love and a place of peace. And I needed to be able to get to a place where I could receive that. And what that required for me was to reevaluate my words, reevaluate the definitions that I had attached to certain things. So grounded being one of those. And it gave me an idea of what if, even in the spiritual avenue and in the parental avenue, we redefine grounded. What if in the spiritual avenue, it has to do with, or maybe we can just say to ourselves, I need to be more rooted down, or rooted into myself, my spirit, and Mother Nature this weekend, or whenever it is that we feel like we should be more grounded. Not only rooted into or rooted down, but more earthed in. And in this way, now all of those stigmas and all of those negative attachments to this word, those aren't there anymore. There's a deeper understanding and a deeper capacity to actually do what is in our best interest and most healthy for us to do, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and psychologically. And then on the other side of the coin, when it comes to the idea of grounding as a place of punishment, here's an idea. How about, instead of grounding your kids or thinking about grounding from a punishment place, just let's use acronyms again. How about NA? Not allowed. So I'm NA this weekend. Oh, what does that mean? Not allowed. I got in trouble, did something I wasn't supposed to do. I got in trouble, I don't even know what I did, but my parents said I'm NA, so sorry guys, can't hang out this weekend. Now, NA is just an acronym, and that's going to change a zillion times, but there's no negative attachment that gets made to it. And it might not feel good to, obviously, not be allowed to do stuff that you want to do, but now we're not taking this punishment, which automatically and always has a negative connotation to it, and attaching it to something that can be used in other ways. So let's appreciate the fact that homonyms are all around us, and we can free ourselves from negative associations and negative attachments to words that actually can have positive effects and positive meanings. What do you think? If you're on board with me and joining into removing a negative connotation from grounding and other words as they come into your awareness. Drop down in the comments and say, hey, D. Grant, I'm with you here too. Let's redefine some words and separate ourselves from negative connotations and attaching that to words that can have really positive, powerful effects in our lives. All right. I appreciate you being here. If you haven't done so already, please give this video a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe if you haven't already. And I've got a whole lot more to share with you. Obviously, on this channel, there's a whole lot of amazing videos that will really uplift you, inspire you, and help you transform into the best version of you. If you love storytelling, and I'm guessing that you do, I'd love to share my stories with you. They're available at growthfarming.com. Go over there and grab at least one for yourself. It will bless you immensely. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you again soon.